Well, it's Thursday at 5. You know what that means. It's the Over Under podcast. Thursday night predictions. My phone's dead. Sorry about that.
A little bit of a delay there. A little bit of a delay.
I don't know what happened, but we're here. It is the Over Under podcast. We are here. So I know people are like, I we work real jobs. I don't know what happened to my phone, but I have lots of alarms that wake me up, and well, it still isn't open. Still isn't on.
All right.
Still isn't on.
We'll figure it out. Might be time for a new phone.
I hope not.
Might be time. All right. Speaking of new phones, not that really is a new phone, but we got a couple games tonight, Joe. Not to mention the start of the WNBA playoffs, which I fucking love. You know me, I love me some WNBA playoffs. So, Joe, why don't we start off with football quickly? What do you want to start? NFL, college? What are you thinking tonight?
College first, I guess.
All right. We'll start off with Marshall, Appalachian State. This spread right now, Appalachian State -7, -290 on the money line. Marshall +250. The over-under right now is sitting at 59. There are some 58s and a halves popping across the board right now. Just so you guys can have a little bit of knowledge of this game. This line opened 7.5, dropped to 7, moved to 8, 8.5. And now is back to 7. Hasn't crossed that under 7 threshold the entire week since the opener on Saturday. Joe, do you like anything in this game?
Well, I'll tell you right off the bat. We talked about this morning. I lean Marshall right off the bat. I know this is a game. I remember a year ago. That the Marshall defense had its coming out party against Appalachian State. So that's kind of my thing is right off the bat. Now there are a lot of changes for Appalachian State. They have a new quarterback this year. When they had a quarterback over the last few years, that was very, very good. So I just think 7. Off the bat, it's just too high. Now, Appalachian State will be at home. Of course, we know Marshall is one of the better teams out of Conference USA. I just remember last year's game, dude, being a slugfest, 17-7.
Yep,
Marshall's
that's correct.
Yeah, so Marshall, they're picked to win Conference USA, well, the East side at least. This season, and they've blown everybody out, right? 49-7 against Navy.
They blew that game to ECU last week, if you remember. They were up big in that second half, and they blew that game and lost that lead.
That's right. So they controlled most of the game, but yeah, that's a tough loss to kind of get over, and I know you're going to kind of hit on that, but for the most part, though, road underdog situation, Marshall 8-2 in their last 10. Also, Appalachian State, they have struggled against teams with a winning record. Now, remember, that was this team that came from FCS to college football. So, right off the bat, I like Marshall getting the 7 points.
So I'm not going to play anything in this one, but I do agree with you that I think I have to go Marshall on this side. I think it's definitely the sharper side of the two as well, and that really matters. But I do think it is the sharper side of the two. I mean, you take a look at what App State's body of the work so far, the 33-19 win over ECU, and what I thought was a dominating performance by that App State team. Covered that spread, which was 10.5, 11 pretty easily. Then next week on the road at Miami, lose by 2 in a game that they probably should have won. Miami was good at that game. I'll give Miami credit, but I thought App State was probably the better of the two teams. In terms of Marshall, last week was surprising, but at the same time, you also have to take a look at what they did on the road versus Navy, their opening game. They really dominated that Navy midship team, and a 49-7. I mean, against a triple option, now they were ready, and Navy really did not look great against Air Force. We're going to find out what they are against Houston this week, but so far that Navy team has not come out great, and so I guess that kind of lowers the rating of the win. I wonder if Navy ends up covering versus Houston. We'll get into that tonight. But I do take a look, and I think Grant Wells has taken the next step in his progression from what he was last year. Especially 11 to 25, 163 yards in the interception against App State. I think he's kind of taken the next step. But you take a look at the common opponent, obviously, with ECU, and I think that Marshall's struggles with ECU were enlightening in regards to the way that they play defense, unfortunately. They get 21 unanswered in the fourth quarter. ECU comes back, takes that victory after scoring 14 of their own unanswered in the third quarter. The game was really back and forth. They definitely did not dominate that ECU team. Again, I think Grant Wells has made tremendous progression, but that Marshall defense isn't where it was last year. And so I think that is going to be a bit of a step back for them. Meanwhile, App State with Chase Bryce, he's been up and down. I wonder what kind of game we're going to get out of Chase Bryce, Joe. I mean, he's I don't know. I mean, he's okay. You know what I mean? Like I like the kid, but I certainly don't love him, and he was not great at Duke last year. In terms of the total, I don't know how you feel about this, but I still think the App defense has been really good this year. They gave up 19 to ECU, 25 on the road to Miami, 10 to Elon in a look-ahead spot, right? So I don't think we can really judge that. And then maybe Marshall's just looking ahead to App State, and things kind of got out of hand versus ECU last week. I still like the under 59. It's a little high. But I think it's definitely the sharper of the two sides in terms of the total, and I think that's probably the side that I would like most tonight if I'm playing something in this game. I don't have a ton, that I really love in this game. To be perfectly honest with you, I don't. I think that Marshall is the right side. But at the same time, I think that you can make a legitimate case for both these teams, and this is going to be an interesting game, Joe.
All right, dude. All right. So I like Marshall. You lean the under, and that's where we are.
Yeah, I think that's the case. Just to kind of give you an update on the injury situation in this one too. Daedric Harrington it looks like he's gonna miss the game tonight, which is not exactly a shocker, but that's a pretty decent loss. And I don't know. I'm interested to see how these two teams play. I think this is definitely going to be a second half play if there is one for me. I'm not gonna do anything full game on this one.
All right, and the only thing I'm scared about when it comes to Marshall IPP is they blew the game, dude, and a lot of teams that have these, mental breakdowns sometimes fall off the wagon, especially on the road. So that's just kind of where I land. So I feel like it's going to be a defensive battle. So.
Very well could be. Again, Harrington he's questionable. I don't think he's going to play tonight. From the reports that have been out there, Harrington probably not going to play for App State. So that is going to be an issue for them in terms of the running back situation for them as well. So that will be something to look for tonight for App State, because if they can't run the football, that's going to be a big problem. They may end up having to turn towards Cameron Peoples for that spot.
All right, dude. How about them the Thursday Night Football NFL?
So why don't we just lead off here? Right now, the spread 8.5, 9. We're seeing some 9s pop across the board. I mean, this one is The advantage in this one is far more significant than it is in that App State Marshall game. Carolina getting 74% of the bet right now. However, I'll tell you, they are only getting 50% of the money. They're getting 72% of the money line, which is probably driving, or 72% of the money line bet, 92% of the money line money, which is probably driving where this line movement that you've obviously seen go from 7.5 to 8 and 8.5. Now we're looking at some nines of Bovada at 5 dimes, which obviously only accessible in New Jersey. Joe, I last week I backed Carolina in what I thought was a fantastic situational spot. Turned out it was. They dominated that game. I never thought that game was really ever close. This week, new quarterback for the Texans, Davis Mills starting, Tyrod Taylor out. What are your thoughts here? Because I really think that this is going to be a very, very sincere issue for Carolina. I kind of like Houston in the spot, even though it is really dangerous.
Well, the Panthers lead the NFL in sacks, and they're going up against their rookie quarterback tonight. So Davis Mills is going to get the start. He's the kid that played at Stanford a year ago. So they're going to unleash their defense against their rookie quarterback. Don't like the idea of a rookie quarterback on Thursday Night Football. I kind of looked into it. This teams have played 5 times. Carolina's 3-2. Carolina won the last meeting in 2016, 16-10. So, as far as that goes, don't worry about it. I would look at this as an under type game. But Panthers are 4-6 straight up, just in their last 10. But they're 7-3 against the spread. The Texans in their last 10 are 3-7, so it kind of shows you which way both these teams are going right now. Short week, McCaffrey's health is something to keep into consideration. He's had 2 big games.
He had cramps last week, so yeah, it's a slight concern.
So this is my opinion, but I think that a rookie quarterback with the Panthers and that defense on the road, I think they win this one. If I had to throw out a score, 24-14. I just see a low-scoring game, man.
I don't see Carolina covering this one. You're coming off a big win against a divisional opponent on a short week on the road. Against a quarterback that you don't have a ton of tape on, and you probably weren't preparing for if you did any sort of preparation before this week. Not exactly saying that Davis Mills is fantastic or, he's great, but I do think that usually when, rookie quarterbacks don't have a ton of tape on them, they're at least a little bit more successful early on, which I do think that you'll see here with Davis Mills. Brandon Cooks didn't completely fall off the map when Mills came in last week, so if people are talking about maybe potentially benching Mills or something like that, I don't think that that's going to be a major issue. Or benching Cooks, excuse me. I don't think that's going to be a major issue. Look, Mills was not great last week. It was 8 of 18, 102 yards, touchdown pick, took a sack. His QBR was not good. His QB rating was not good. The Texans are going to need to be able to run the football tonight if they want to be in this game. Mark Ingram is going to be a really important part of that. I expect David Johnson to be part of that as well. So I'm more worried about what we see of Carolina on this short week. I don't think this is a great spot for them, to be perfectly honest with you. I think that the market is still criminally underrating what Houston is. Let's not forget, Houston was leading that game against Cleveland, or tied up in the game, against Cleveland last week. That was not a game that the Browns were running away with whatsoever. So I take a look at this, and the Browns, this is going to be their first of their back-to-backs. They're on the road at Dallas next week. So I think short week, coming off a big win against New Orleans, at home against New Orleans. I think this is a week that we're not going to see a ton. They do lose Yatir Gross Matos. Not exactly, he was not a big contributor, but played about 25% of the snaps defensively for them. So definitely a contributor in terms of what we're seeing from the Texans side. Sounds like no Danny Amendola tonight. He's out. Terrence Mitchell out. Obviously, Deshaun Watson. Justin Reed sound like he might be out tonight too. So definitely going to be banged up back there. But I still think that Houston is the play tonight. And I have got to tell you, Joe, and this is the most concerning to me. I have heard probably about 40 to 50 people today tell me, do I take the Panthers in Survivor, which I would tell you no, or am I teasing the Panthers down the 2? I think that if you're teasing the Panthers tonight, I think you're living very dangerously. I think if you take them in a knockout pool, you're living dangerously. I'm telling you, Houston team is still being underrated in the market. They absolutely dominated that Jaguars team early on. They were in the game against Cleveland last week. Davis Mills is a drop in terms of value on the spread. There's no doubt about it. But I'm telling you right now, I'm a big Carolina fan. Obviously, I backed them last week. I like what they are. Don't go crazy with this Carolina team. They're not a world-beating team. And Sam Darnold is still Sam Darnold, okay? And I think that people are a little bit quick to overrate this Carolina Panthers team. I really like Houston the 8.5. I'm not going to PP it, but if you're making me choose a side, I like Houston. That would be the play I would go with tonight. I really don't have a great feel on the total. All the primetime totals right now, 6-0 to the over. This is probably where that streak ends, but it's a streak. People ride those streaks, so I'm not really touching it. It's pretty even movement. Opened at 43.5. It's at 43 or 42.5. Not exactly a ton of move off the total there, so I'm not really going to do much there. I like Houston. I'll look for a second half play. That's probably where I'm going. Suggest not to tease the Panthers and not to take them in a survivor pool. I think those are both mistakes, and I think this Carolina team could lose outright on the road versus Houston team, even with David Mills starting.
All right, so road favorite. There's only 4 of them this week. Carolina's one of them. Panthers are one of 5 teams to start 2-0, right, if we're really looking at it. Carolina is 7-0 against the spread in each of the last 7 road games. Now, this is their first road game this year. So remember that. They've yet to play on the road. And the Texans are 0-2 against the spread. They're 2-0. Again, now the over is cashed in each of Houston's first 2 games. While on the other hand, when you look at what the Panthers have done, their defense has been somewhat the story this year. But I have this thing about Sam Darnold on national TV, Dan, it's bit me in the ass before. But I don't know. I don't feel so. Just off the bat, I kind of think the Texans are a good story. They're supposed to suck, like laughing stocks. They've actually played better than I thought. Now, I'll agree with you with some of the Panthers stuff. They're 2-0 and everyone's happy, and the Saints are in turmoil right now just because they can't go home, Yeah. And last week, the defense looked good. Let's call it what it is. The defense looked good. I don't love the number, but I think this is a Panthers win. I probably just I'm not a PP. I'm staying away from the side tonight. Do I lean on a total? I hate a rookie quarterback in this spot. So I'm kind of out of it. I'm looking for another angle tonight. Looking for first score or something like that. Yeah.
Yeah. If this opened 10.5, I'd probably like Carolina more, to be perfectly honest with you. But that number at 8, again, I'm just gonna keep saying it. 8.5. That is a dog number. That is a dog number. There's a reason that opens there. And so kind of feeling that. So I like Houston tonight. I think they're going to find a way to cover this game. Primetime game. You know what that means, Joe? That there's going to be maybe some hoopla with the
Who's
referees.
Who's
I'm
the
actually
official?
I'm actually looking it up right now. Who the official is tonight. It's let's see. I'm looking to see. Alex Kemp is the ref tonight. So I don't know much about Alex Kemp. I don't have any trends or anything for him. But anyways, Cleve Blakeman, by the way, getting the Bengals Steelers game this week. So heads up. The Dogs with Cleve Blakeman this week are this year so far 2-0. 2-0 against the spread, 2-0 outright. Heads up. So, all right, Joe.
I am looking at one tonight.
Oh yeah,
I see Christian McCaffrey receiving yards at 50.5. Like kind of lean over.
Let's see. Christian McCaffrey receiving yards. See if I can find the prop for you. 50.5 is a low number. I see 52.5 as the lowest number.
I like the over.
Yeah. Okay. You PP in that?
Let's do it.
Okay. All right. Over 52.5 receiving yards for Joe.
They snuck 3 yards on me.
So yeah. Well, that's the line I have here. 52.5 here. Okay. I'll give a play in this game too. I think you can't just talk about everything and not give out a play. I'm gonna go the longest field goal. I think this is going to be a field goal game. I think this is going to be more of an under game than an over game. I think we're going to see some long field goals with some good kickers tonight. Give me the over 46.5 yards minus 110 for the longest field goal in this game tonight. All right, there you go. That's my play. That is my PP tonight. And I'm gonna add another PP in there for good measure, Joe. WNBA, not NFL, but WNBA, starting at 8:00. Okay, the Dallas Wings and Chicago Sky. The total 167. Give me that PP over that 167 between the Dallas Wings and the Chicago Sky. I'm taking the over in that one as well. So there you go. 3 plays. Joe, you have anything else for the folks tonight before we start the college podcast?
All right, tell me what this means. I got it tweeted at me. Dallas +5, New York +9. That's what I have. I assume WNBA.
Yeah, Dallas +5, New York +9. Those are the WNBA lines. That is correct.
That's what I got sent to me tonight.
Yeah, by the way, New York is now +10, so I hope you're not taking +9.
I can tell you. I'm just telling you what someone sent me.
I can tell you right now where the big money is coming in. It's coming in on Phoenix -10, coming in on that big Chicago -5, and money coming in on both the unders right now. Both of those getting hit pretty hard. The Dallas game opened up at 168.5, down to 167. I'm gonna fade the sharp money, go over that number. So, all right. Anything else you got there tonight, Joe? Before we start college.
I think we got ourselves a good little college football game tonight. I think we'll see what App State is and what Marshall is. And as far as the Texans go, like Davis Mills was one of these, outside of the first round candidates. We'll see it. We'll see how he does. And is this Panthers defense for real? Like, I think we're going to see what the Panthers are tonight.
I agree. Also, that FCS game, Alcorn State, Arkansas Pine Bluff. People have asked me about that. I don't have a lean on that one, but spread is 4.5, 5. Keep that in mind for potential second half play tonight. Might be looking at that one as well. So we'll see what's going on there.
Well, I watched Alcorn State play their first game this year. They air raid, and McNair is a coach. So I don't know if it's his brother or whatnot, but.
They lost by 7 to South Alabama last week. So South Alabama held on and won that game. But Alcorn State has not been good outside that game. Lost NC Central, almost lost Northwestern State. Lose to South Alabama by 7. They have not been good. Arkansas Pine Bluff is 5.5-point dog at home right now. Some books have 5. I think Pine Bluff might actually cover this game. I'm not playing anything in this one, but interested to watch this one and see kind of how everything unravels. All right, that's it for me, Joe. Time for some college football. We'll get this to you. We'll get the college football to you guys tomorrow morning, 9 a.m. I'll schedule the podcast to drop then. You'll be out for your work day tomorrow, and Joe and I are about to dive into some college football for a couple hours here.
All right, that's it. We'll sign this off. We'll sign on to a new one, Dan, and then we'll get into college football. My apologies for being late. My phone's on again.
There you go.
I don't know how long that took.
I don't know.
But all right, well, Thursday night football, blah, blah. But normally I would like that Marshall App State game. So, all right, let's kick it off. It's college football season. We'll talk to you guys in just a little bit here.